What's up, guys? I am going to be trying to download some things while we talk. But, wow, that goat is just everywhere. I'm also going to be just randomly pulling some impromptu card reads. You can get tickets on my Linktree. I'm trying to just do the thing. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Reiki and channeled reads, because we would like that one to download. So, yeah. So, I am going to be reading a little bit tonight. I haven't done shadow work reads in a while. So, if you guys have never watched me do shadow work reads, I have two different decks. One is the Mausolea deck. That is this deck right here. The other one is the Dark Mirror, which both of these decks are technically shadow work decks. No, I did not. It's somebody asked if I had just got my hair done. No, it's actually a little faded right now, but thank you. I'm glad that it looks great. So, tomorrow you guys are going to get me for a very long time. I'm just letting you know. Well, once my list refreshes, I'm going to go ahead and pull cards from my very first one. All kinds of stuff coming out. So, this one is for Peyton. Ready, Peyton? All right. So Peyton, you start off with the Exile, the Forsaken Soldier. So this is strategy and failure, exile, defeat. But this also talks a lot about trauma and about dealing with trauma. But not only dealing with trauma, thank you, Ms. Joy, handling your trauma in a way that allows you to stand out from other people. Everybody has trauma. It's the way that you process your own trauma that is a little bit different. Does that make sense? Then you have, is this me? And you have sacrifice. So, this one is a new moon. This one is a 3/4 moon. But let's talk about this new moon aspect right here. You have the exile, you have trauma, you have experience, you have failure, you have strategy. Your whole life you have been trying to make sure that you have the right strategy, that you are doing the right things, doing everything you need to be doing. And you've done it so much, and I want you to notice the colors on the backs of these cards. Pretty similar, right? You've been doing it so much for so long that you don't really know who Peyton is anymore. So you look around when you get back to yourself, and then you realize, like, I'm not quite sure I know who I actually am. So you feel lost. You feel adrift. You feel like you have no destination. Does that make sense? You're just moving and putting one foot in front of the other, but you actually have no destination. The other aspect of this is the sacrifice card. You have done so much self-sacrifice for others in your life that has also become the norm. So your strategy to deal with all of this trauma has been to just be what everybody else wanted you to be, and to sacrifice so much of yourself. That scared the shit out of me. Sacrifice so much of yourself that you really aren't sure where you're going or what you're doing. Now, this is a hard rut to get out of. Because when you have been doing these two things for so long, when you've been living for other people for so long, and when you've been sacrificing the part of you in here to be this person and to just get along, go along to get along, it can be really hard. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. This strategy that you've always used to get through life, you don't really have to change the whole strategy, okay? However, you do have to change a few words. You have to look at all of those traumas that are way down in there. Thank you, Katrina. You have to look at all those traumas that are way, way down in there. And that's going to take some time. Nothing in here was done overnight. So you're going to have to take some time and really look at how your strategy has changed, where you need to make changes. I know that you see things as failure because you don't feel like you are living up to other people. Thank you for subscribing, Sarah. You did not see that yawn. You feel like you're a failure because you didn't live up to what other people wanted you to be. There's no failure because it's not your expectation. It wasn't your goal. It wasn't your dream. It wasn't anything about where you wanted to be. So there is no failure there. There never was a start. Does that make sense? When we live completely for someone else, thank you, Arden, there's no failure because we didn't fail ourselves. So you need to start strategizing in that way and realizing that you didn't fail them. They should not have put unrealistic expectations on you. The other part is this. You need to look at all these times that you self-sacrifice, that you sacrifice too much for someone else, and how that strategy needs to kind of come to life and not come to life. That strategy needs to be put to bed and not be something that you continue to do. Okay? Like I said, it's going to take a while to unprogram this. You can do it though. I have faith in you. I really do. After meeting you today and hanging out and you talking to me about so many different things that were going on, I want to reiterate that the failure aspect isn't failure because they were never your expectations anyway. A lot of times we end up failing because our parents, our friends, a significant other, whoever it is, put unrealistic expectations on us. Usually it's our parents. Unrealistic expectations on us from the time we were little. And then when we can't meet those expectations, I'm just saying, they weren't your expectations to live up to. Okay? Now, when we put our own expectations on ourselves, a lot of times we're way too hard on ourselves. Just so you know. So, this next one is for B. You ready, B? So B, you start off with Arthur, which is championship and nobility and self-revelation. Then you have alone in the world. And then you have the queen of my world. So, B, you've gone through a very, very intense period of self-realization. I think it was longer and harder than you even realize it was, because time has been going so fucking fast lately anyway that, yeah, it seems like January, New Year's was just like last week, and it wasn't. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. But You've gone through a super intense period of self-realization. Thank you for the roses, Tanya. But. I'm just going to keep saying but, I guess. With this self-realization, you've had some issues. The self-realization has showed you where you isolate yourself on purpose sometimes. And this is not just, everybody needs time for themselves. Everybody needs to hermit just a little bit. This is different. You hermit on purpose out of necessity. Does that make sense? Because here's the thing. Whenever we go through this intense period of self-realization, it ends up that we try to hermit ourselves away, because when we go through self-realization, when we go through this interesting nobility moment, our empathy gets stronger. And when our empathy gets stronger, we have to self-isolate because it hurts. Does that make sense? But you're swinging through these hardcore periods of self-isolation and being alone in the world and not having anybody, to this. Absolutely owning your personal power and being the queen of your world, almost to the extent that that causes problems. You've got to find a good middle ground between these two. And I want you to notice that the woman, the hair even looks almost the same. I think that's interesting. But I'm just saying, you have to find a middle ground here. This self-realization and this nobility card can help you find the middle ground. You cannot be all queen all the time, losing sight of who you really are. And you cannot be hermiting yourself away and never coming out into the world. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you got to find a happy medium. This self-realization that you've been on, the self-realization trip that you've been on for a while, if you just look at it really carefully, of the things you've learned this week, you're going to find that happy medium. Okay? All right, let me refresh my list here. If you guys would like to grab a ticket for tonight, there is a link on my profile, my link tree. It is the very top one there. Thank you, Joe. And don't stress if you can't stay for the entire thing. I will download this tonight and get it on YouTube for you. I have a lot of things that are fixing to get uploaded to YouTube over the next day and a half. Thank you, Miss Angela. For some reason, things weren't downloading correctly on my phone. All right, Andrew, you are next, honey. But I will get this on, so that way you can go back and watch this at any time you would like. Wow. Just dropped several cards at a time. Andrew, you don't need 50 cards. So, no, Gina the medium. No. Hey, Night Moon, it should... Oh, the 16th yesterday. I haven't gotten those uploaded yet, honey. It will be tonight. Yes, ma'am. Yes'm. Oh, I screenshotted that account. And, hey, hippie mama, I made sure to block them. That is like... They're gonna do that to somebody eventually, and it's gonna really, really cause some problems. Like, that is the rudest thing that you can do to someone else, is to come in and start doing that. Like, no, not. I love it when I get my hair caught in my earrings. It's great. It's so much fun. So much fun. Big old knot. We'll get that out later. All right. Andrew. So you start off with the Morrigan, which is introspection and opposition. And then you have sacrifice. Then you have colorless angel. So, Andrew, with yours, you are stuck in this introspection mode. It's not even so much of being in your own head as it is overly looking inwards. I know everybody talks about when you're on your spiritual journey and shadow work and so on, that you have to look inwards, and you do. But the thing is, you cannot always be looking inwards. After doing years of shadow work, you can train yourself to kind of be doing shadow work moment to moment. But it doesn't mean you're always looking inwards. Because when you're always looking inwards and you don't ever look outside of yourself, outside of here, then you start to sacrifice a lot of your spiritual self. You start to sacrifice. You just start to sacrifice. I mean, you do. Because you're always looking inwards. I got the heater on and it's making my throat super dry. So, you start to sacrifice your time. You start to sacrifice time with others. You start to sacrifice your job. You start to sacrifice like all of these different things. And at first it's just little bitty tiny things that you start to sacrifice. But they get to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger things all the time. And eventually you have looked inside so damn much and you've sacrificed so damn much that it literally drains all of the color and all of the want to out of everything. And when we get to that point where there isn't really a color, there isn't really a passion or a drive to anything that we used to want to do, it's almost like we can't figure out how to get the color back in there. Because we've been looking in for so long that we can't look outside and see those colors anymore. So here's what I'm going to say, Andrew. Stop looking at you. Just stop looking at you. Okay? Woo. I love that heater, but woo, that caught me like right across the face. I couldn't breathe, nothing. Damn. Stop looking at you. I'm not saying to look at others and be petty or whatever, but you're going to have to actively stop looking at you. And you've done it for so long, it's going to be hard. Start looking at other things on your path instead. Start looking at where you want to go in the future. Start looking at what the future looks like for you. Start working on pinpointing your list as far as manifestations, things like that. All of these other aspects of you that are not allowing you to look in. Thank you, Connect. Start looking at other areas of life that mean you don't have to sit and try to find the color. The color will come back on its own. But you have to quit looking in, and you have to quit sacrificing your time and your sanity and the things that you want to do. Okay? Start looking at your path. Start looking at the future and what that looks like for you. So, The color will just automatically come back. I promise. All right. Miss Diana. Ready? So I am reading from the Mausolea deck. This is Nyx. Imagine that. That's funny. I just picked this card up off the top. This is the Mausolea deck. And this deck right here is called the Dark Shadow. And these are both shadow work decks. The Dark Shadow is just for shadow work. Like, it's just for talking to you about what's going on. Does that make sense? The Mausolea, this one right here, I use as, well, I guess what I call an anchor card. It tells me where that person is, what they're doing, where their mind is, etc. So, Miss Diana, I think it's funny. I literally had just shuffled the deck and I picked the card off the top. So you have Charon, which is the ferryman. This is necessity and focus and transition. Then you have hiding your true self. Then you have, is this me? Miss Diana, you are in a very intense time of transformation, which means a lot of movement, a lot of spiritually moving over here, then moving over here, then moving up here, then moving down there. When we're in a time of transition, when it comes to our spiritual self, there are no downtimes. There are no downtimes. When we're in this crazy amount of spiritual movement, we also have this happen. We start to hide our true self. And if we're already somebody who has been hiding words, who has been hiding our true self, it's easier and easier and easier to hide the rest of you. With you in this transition, your focus keeps shifting to other places, other things, other beings, other people, other whatever. So the more that your focus shifts to something else or someone else, the more of you gets hidden back underneath everything. So here's the problem. You have been in this transition for long enough, and you have started focusing on everybody else but you for so long that now that it's time to kind of focus on you a little bit, whenever you're allowed to let you out, you suddenly start to feel like, that's not me. I don't know who this is. I don't make those kind of jokes. I don't say that, whatever it is. You start to really question who you actually are, because you've been in this transition for so long. You've also hidden your true self for so long. The thing is, hiding your true self is never going to last very long. And when it's time for your true self to come out, the hardest thing you're going to struggle with is this, not recognizing your true self, because it's been hidden for so long. It's been in this transition for so long. But it's not hard to let your true self back out. I mean, not as hard as undoing years and years of things. Because our true self is always right there, always ready to come out. I love you right back, Robin. Your true self is always, always ready to come out. We just have to let it. Does that make sense? You're going to still be in this transition for a while, because when we go through transition phases in life, they don't pause anytime soon. But this right here, hiding your true self, if you just accept that your true self is out and having fun, playing with all the other kids in a good way, you're only going to have to deal with this. It's almost like imposter syndrome for your true self. We all go through it, okay? If somebody tells you that they don't go through imposter syndrome at one time or another, and sometimes on a daily basis in their life, they are lying through their face. They're lying through their face. Every single one experiences that feeling. Every single one experiences, thank you, Miss Sarah. Every single person experiences letting their true self out, only to question if that's really who they are. If you take the time and actually let your true self out, yes, you're going to have to deal with this just a little bit, but not a crazy amount, because you've hidden your true self for so long. She's absolutely ready to come back out. And you know what? The people that aren't ready, they were never going to be ready. And the people that love you and the people that are on your side and the ones that are supposed to be in your life will always be there, no matter what you choose. Okay? Let me refresh my list again. Monique, I'm pretty sure that you're on there. Let me look. Yeah, you're on there, Monique. This is so weird. It won't let me... It won't let me sort it in the way that I usually sort it. Oh well, it is what it is. All right, Gretche, are you ready? Hey, Raving. If you will shoot a message to the site, that way we can kind of look at it and see. If it was one of the starseed, the coordinate sigils, those are going to start, well, actually, some of them have gone out. All of them are going to go out before the 5th of December. So that way you'll have them in time for Christmas. Each one of those takes me anywhere from... Okay. All right, Gretche. Each one of those takes me anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes to do. So they take a little bit. Gretchen, why was I just going to do like 2 cards? I wasn't even going to do the 3rd card. What's up with that? Oh, good, good, good. Yeah, I'm working through all of them. They take a little bit. I will say though, I like having that list of those, because on the times, here's what you guys don't realize. Those starseed sigils help me just as much as they provide something that you guys really love, because I've done those kind of things for so long that it's like automatic to me when I'm making them, and I can zone out and I can turn on some music and I can just listen to music and I can create your sigil, and it's like meditation. It's like meditation for me. Does that make sense? So they make me happy, because I can literally just zone out and make gorgeous, weird designs like that. And yeah, I love you right back. All right, Gretchen. Thank you, Christine. That's so funny. All right. So when I was drawing your anchor card, thank you for the crane, Ash. Hey, Scarly, honey. The card that flipped, it like hit my thumb and flipped out on the desk was set. This is short-sightedness and ambition and narcissism. Doesn't say, I'm not saying you're a narcissist, okay? That's just the card, okay? Then you have colorless angel. And then you have naked before the stars. Notice that both of these are the half moon. Both of them. Seal. This heater is about to burn me up. Well, I had it on 77. Wow. I was about to melt myself. Like, legit, about to melt myself. A lot of times when we start moving forward on our spiritual path, just in life in general, we start to get through these phases where we get super ambitious. Super ambitious. And we have the energy, thank you, love. We have the energy to push forward. We have the energy to get those ambitions, to crush all of those ambitions. But when we start crushing those ambitions, we start getting really short-sighted in that we just get super hyper-focused on this or that or this or that. And we forget all of this other stuff out here. And we get so hyper-focused on something that we're doing, that we're manifesting, that we want, that it's like the rest of the world becomes just shades of gray because we are so laser focused on that one thing. Nothing else really matters. Thank you, love. The problem with that is that we kind of lose track of other things in the world around us. And when we start to lose track, we start to feel exposed because we're not connecting to the earth, to other people, to all of these other things around us like we used to. So then we pull in and we start getting a little more cautious about our ambitions. And then we lose even more color and then we feel even more exposed. So here's what I'm going to say, Miss Gretchen. By the way, I think that the name Gretchen is like badass. I'm just saying. I've always thought it was badass. Take a break for your ambition, from your ambition, for just a little bit. For just a little bit. Not too long. Not too long. But take a break for just a little bit. Take a step back. Take a breather. Literally fuck off next week. Don't do anything spiritual. Don't do anything ambitious. Don't do anything work-wise. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't do anything next week. Just enjoy being in the moment and being present. Okay? That's for all of you. Gretchen especially, but that's for all of you. Just be present next week. Whether it's at work, whether it's at home, just be present. Don't stress about the ambitions. Let them have a vacation day. Let them have a vacation week too, okay? So that way when you're ready to get back to ambitions, they won't drain all of the color out of the world around you, okay? It'll also help you from feeling exposed in front of everybody, all right? You are so welcome, sweetheart. See, now I've overheated myself. I'll be cold again in 5 minutes, so yeah. Aw, I always love it when I see people that are like, I needed to hear that too. And I'm like, We're going to shuck all the bracelets for a minute because I've had them on all day, and I've actually got, well, you can't see because all the tattoos, but I've actually got like marks. It's pretty bad when you take all your bracelets off and it's literally like a pound of bracelets. Maybe more than a pound. So yeah. All right. Miss Wendy, you ready? Unicorns and glitter. Yes! We did do the ribbon cutting today. Yes, yes. I was live for it. It was awesome. I will download it and put it on YouTube. I'm going to edit it a little bit because, yeah, there was some movement trying to figure some things out. So I'm going to edit it just a little bit. So, yeah. Thank you, Sharon. All right. Miss Wendy, you ready? Good. I'm so glad, love. All right. Man, Miss Wendy, you kind of live in the darkness. You start off with the Keeper of Whispers, which is curiosity and madness and hidden knowledge. Then you have the Triumph of Lies. Then you have Black Flower Fragrance. So let's talk about this Keeper of Whispers. This card right here is just like every card in this deck. It has its good and its bad. This one in particular is very interesting because this is somebody whose soul loves to reside in the shadows. You love all of that hidden knowledge. Thank you. I love you too. You love all of that hidden knowledge. You love all of those taboo topics that you're not really should, well, you're not, that my Oklahoman almost came out. You're not really should supposed to learn. I apologize. You love all those topics that, you know, you really shouldn't be dabbling in, but you can't help it because they're interesting. Y'all are welcome for that. The other thing about this card is you love all of those topics that you really shouldn't be dabbling in. When we get really deep into learning, you're going to come across some things that are utterly phenomenal, crazily fantastic. You just have to be careful with that knowledge when it comes up, when you find it. But the reason I said you had lived in the shadows for a long time wasn't just because of that. The Keeper of Whispers is also someone or a card that talks about someone who you are used to being the odd man out. You are used to being in the background. You are used to being not really left behind, but overlooked. So this is part of the shadow work that you're trying to do now and that I'm going to encourage you to work on. And that is this Triumph of Lies. Because when we get so used to being in the background, being in the shadow, and not being put up front, like all of us should be, we start to tell ourselves lies to make that okay, when it's not okay. And when we live in those for too long, and we justify those things for too long, then they become a fragrance that we wear. It's like putting out these pheromones of, hey, I'm the one that likes to be in the background, so come over here and hang out with me. Come take advantage of this. Come do this and do that and do this and do that. So, you're starting to wear this pheromone of, I'm always in the background. And you're starting to draw those people to you. So, Miss Wendy. I knew it was coming. You have to start doing some of this work here to see through all of the aspects that have made you think you need to be in the background. All of the ones that you tell yourself about how, well, it's okay that so-and-so acts like this, or that so-and-so did this to me because, this was my sibling, my parent, my best friend, my significant other, whatever it is. All the things that we make excuses for, you're going to have to start working through. We know what we make excuses for with people. We know when someone's being a shit to us. We just know. So you're going to have to start working through. You're going to have to start working through that. Otherwise, it's becoming a thing to the point that those are the only people you're going to draw into your path. And that doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything good for your manifestation, your health, your spiritual health, any of that. Okay? I promise that you deserve so much better than you have. But you have to be honest with you. Okay, Wendy? See, I told you I burnt myself out, but now I'm getting cold again. So we're going to put the sweater on, and then I'm going to turn the heater back on in a minute, and then I'm going to burn up again because I don't know how to do things in moderation. No moderation. What's moderation? You are so welcome, honey. All right, Miss Monique, it's your turn. I have a very small list tonight, so if you guys, well, I better look and see how many tickets are sold. I didn't do a ton of tickets on here tonight. Just saying what I'm saying. All right, Miss Monique. I knew that was going to do that. Son of a bitch. This is killing me. I swear. This is killing me. All right. There we go. You have lots of cards trying to come out, Miss Monique. It is quiet tonight. It's also a little later than I'm normally on. Like, I usually don't get on this late, so yeah. So, Miss Monique, you also start off with the Exile, which is strategy and failure and trauma. Then you have hiding your true self. And then you have the triumph of lies. With yours, I don't feel like yours is failure. I don't feel like yours is strategy either. I think that all of this right here has to do with some trauma from way back then that's causing you, it's starting to cause you hang-ups now. And I am going to say this because this eclipse season was super hard on everyone. It brought up a lot of old traumas. It re-triggered a lot of things that a lot of us thought we had already worked through. And so we're kind of looking around like, all right, this is some bullshit. Why this is coming back up, I don't know. I thought I had healed all of this, but it turns out that we were just pushing that down. We thought we were healing it. We were just pushing it down. So with you, some of yours is that you've been pushing it down, but some of it is stuff that was already so far down in the box. It was way, way back in the bottom corner that we didn't pull it out. So here lately, you have been allowing yourself to be less than. You have been allowing yourself to be muted, to be not as colorful, to be not as bright, to be not as bold, because these traumas that have been coming back up, you've been kind of pulling back into yourself. In pulling back into yourself and hiding your true self, we start to see where there are all these lies that we have told ourselves, that others have told us, and we believed, whatever it is. But when we pull back into ourselves and we hide who we truly are, we start to see through a lot of outward lies, but we don't look at ourselves. So what I'm going to say is this. Keep looking at some of these super old traumas. They're going to give you almost like a blueprint, a roadmap on how to unlock all of those pieces of you that you've been kind of like squishing down a little bit. Because it can be hard to get those pieces of us back out after we've already squished them down in the box. The good side effect? Thank you. The good side effect is... Thank you for all the hand arts. Thank you, sweetie. That you're starting to see through this. You're starting to see through a lot of the lies and just the bullshit gunk that you had been walking through that are from other people, that are all about other people, and that no one sees that. That you have been holding you back and really moving forward with your strategies. So this is actually a really, really good side effect of all of this shadow work over here. But you can easily get hung up in this, in hiding who Monique actually is. Does that make sense? Thank you, sweetheart. So don't let you get in the way of you. And all these other people right here that have made you feel less than, that have made you feel like you can't be your true self anymore. Now is absolutely the time to figure that out and cut their influence out of your life as much as possible. Now, I know that there are going to be some times where we can't cut the people out. But it just kind of, unfortunately, is what it is, you know? All right. I am actually going to turn my tickets off for this evening, for right now. Family absolutely is the worst at that, because they know that you can't, not that you can't, they know that you probably won't really cut them off. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Broadway. So I'm proud of you for not giving in. Just so you know. All right. Brandon, you are next, love. And I'm so sorry that you have a family, Monique, that doesn't allow you to be who you truly are. All right, Brandon. So you also start off with the Keeper of Whispers, which is curiosity and madness and forbidden knowledge. Woo! And forbidden knowledge. Thank you, Bella. Then you have black flower fragrance. And then you have fragmentation. So here's the thing. With you, yours isn't so much that forbidden knowledge as it is the curiosity aspect. Because when we really get curious about something and we start diving down every rabbit hole, not just the main rabbit hole, but all the little side rabbit holes, and then we come back up, we go down other side rabbit holes and come back up and go. It's just like a honeycomb of rabbit holes. So when that happens, we start to draw in people that either can help us clear the rabbit holes or that are in the same rabbit holes. So at first, when we find somebody that's in the same rabbit hole we are, you can talk about that for hours with that person. But the problem is, we all start to see really quickly where our curiosity got the better of us, and we don't need to talk to some of these people. Not everybody that you come across, not everybody that wants to talk to you, not everybody that wants to talk about their spiritual path, your spiritual path, etc., has your highest good in mind. Sometimes they literally just want to pick your brain, snatch your energy, etc. Okay? So be very careful who you talk to your spiritual self about. Because with that, it's gotten you extremely, extremely fragmented. When we get very fragmented, we have a hard time finishing things. We have a hard time moving forward with decisions. We have a hard time. We just have a hard time. We just have a hard time. We can't get the left hand and the right hand to work together, or the left foot and the right foot to work together. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But here's what I'm going to say, Brandon. Because of this card right here and how intense this card is, and how really neither one of these have these colors in it. Be curious. Be curious all you want. In fact, being curious is what's going to make you a great spiritual person. Just don't allow this to drag in all of these people. Okay? Because all that's going to do is get you fragmented. Just saying what I'm saying. This convo needs to be a TikTok. I have a whole bunch of them that need to be on TikToks. All right, Miss Jackie. Shadow work reads aren't very calm and collected and cool, just so you guys know. Shadow work reads can get a little intense. You are so welcome. How are you? How are you, Brandon? Hey, Snacks. How are you? Hey, Echo. How are you? Hey, Jake. I'm good. What's up with you? Woo! I did like that. Jackie, I was drawing your card and that one just kind of like shuffled right up my hand. It was like, that's the weirdest feeling. All right. All right, y'all saw me shuffle. Y'all saw me shuffle, yeah? Yeah. I know I shuffled, but I'm just like, all right. So you also start off with the Keeper of Whispers, which is curiosity and madness and forbidden knowledge. It always makes me feel a little crazy. Like, did I really shuffle? When this card comes out like twice, 3 times in a row, I'm like, did I really though? Did I really shuffle? I know I did. Yeah. Can't make this shit up. But then you have Addicted. And then you have Alone in the World. Thank you, Misty. So the problem becomes this. We get tied up with all of the things we want to do. We get tied up with our worky work, our jobby job, with our family, with our hobbies, with anything that we're doing. We get tied up with learning a crazy amount, especially in the witchy world, spiritual world. We get, thank you, love. We get tied up in trying to strategize the future. We get tied up in, we just get tied up with life. When that happens, there is always one thing that we get addicted to. Everybody has a different thing, but there's always one thing. I don't feel like yours is like, oh, you're addicted to smoking, you're addicted to drinking, whatever. I think yours is more, you're addicted to learning. You're addicted to focusing on some new thing. The problem with that becomes when we get addicted to something like that, to learning, you're never really going to retain most of the things you learned, because in the moment, you might be learning them. In the moment, you might be reading that book. In the moment, you might be listening to that person or whatever. But later, if you try to put too much in there at once, it starts to kind of just filter through. The other thing is this. You also have that alone in my world card. When we go through the spiritual aspect and we start doing something compulsively, addictively, then we start feeling like nobody really knows what we're going to. Nobody really has our back, etc. I'm just going to let you know that is not, I don't know, out of my eyes right there. That was weird. Probably because I'm tired. And now there's helicopters everywhere. Gotta love that. That's not the way to go about gaining all of that knowledge. Don't try to put so much in there that you get addicted to doing something, that you get addicted to the knowledge, because you will overwhelm your brain. You will absolutely overwhelm your brain. And then you will feel like you are all alone in the world because nobody else is overwhelming their brain either. But we all are overwhelming our brain. I overwhelm mine on a daily basis, and then at the end of the day, I sit there and kind of look stupid at the camera sometimes. It's been a long day today. I have, I've been overwhelming my brain with way too much lately. So this is the pot calling the kettle black. I'm just saying, Jackie. Oh, no. Mm-mm. I got you, Miss Gemma. Got you, Sugar Britches. Yeah. I'm just going to start calling them that when they come in and they start, inbox me, inbox. I got you, Sugar Britches. I got you. But, don't give up your quest for knowledge. Don't give up on that curiosity. Just don't let it run everything. Okay? Does that make sense? So we're a collection of kettles. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Kathryn, you are next. And let me update my list here real quick. That was funny. All righty. Here we go, Miss Kathryn. Quite the eclectic bunch of kettles. Hey, Amanda, I had a very, very small, short list this evening. However, if you guys want to get on my list for tomorrow, I'm not doing shadow work reads tomorrow, but I did get a, brand new set of horror oracle cards. And I will be reading with them tomorrow next to the newest Jason Voorhees. Mr. James Stokes is at the shop. And yes, you can get his autograph as well. But if you want to get listed, if you want to get on my list for tomorrow, then you can do that on my link tree as well. Go ahead and like save your spot. All right. Thank you, Alyssa, honey. So, Miss Kathryn, you start off with Anubis. Anubis is neutrality and obligation and preservation. Then you have hiding your true self. There's a lot of you guys tonight. Y'all are watching me shuffle. You also have hiding your true self. And then, is this me? We have these exact same cards with someone else. Y'all watch me shuffle. So when Anubis pops up, usually this right here tells me that you've been taking on way too many responsibilities, way too many you've got too many obligations. When we get to the point that we have too many obligations, then this happens, this hiding our true self. But it's not in the same way that other people hide their true self. We hide our true self when we get too many obligations because then we're not sure like which mask we have to wear. Does that make sense? When we have too many obligations, we get confused and we start hiding our true self because, well, am I supposed to wear this mask so I can do this? Am I supposed to wear this mask so I can go up to my kid's school? Am I supposed to wear this mask for work? Do you see what I'm saying? You start to wear all of these masks because you have too many obligations. So it's like we start to bury little parts of ourselves with that mask because obligations aren't just like a one-time thing and done. They're over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So we really start to push ourselves down under this pile of masks. So the problem becomes that you kind of forget the true self. You forget that you are not all of those masks and all of those things under the masks. You are you. It's kind of an interesting, heartbreaking, weird dilemma to get out of because with obligations and responsibilities, that's what we do for people that we love. That's what we do for people that we care about. It's what we do because it's the right thing, etc. The problem becomes we don't know who we are after a little while. And we have a problem finding it. So what I'm going to say is this, Miss Kathryn. Take a look at the obligations that you've made, especially the newer ones that you've made. And look at where you actively don't have time. Spooky, did you really? I will be in the shop tomorrow. Did you really? We traveled from Missouri for the weekend to come see your shop. Please, please, please come see the shop. Mr. Voorhees will be there tomorrow signing autographs. I will be there, and I would love to hug your neck. I'm pretty much from the end of the year. Thank you, love. I'm pretty much going to be there the rest of the year. I'm not traveling. So, unless, knock on wood, I get ill or something like that. But, yeah, I'm pretty much going to be there the rest of the year. So, if you guys travel through or whatever, especially if you're coming through to see me, come through on a day where you can stay in the evening and see the Christmas shoot. Not that it's not beautiful during the day, but at night it is utterly phenomenal. So, I'm going to wait until Monday or Tuesday. Well, it'll probably be Tuesday to go down and take some videos of it because I don't really want all the people in it. So I'm going to wait till there's a day where it's not as people-y. But this next weekend, it's going to be utterly insane because it'll be Black Friday, Small Business Saturday. Like, it'll be insane. So, yeah. But, Miss Kathryn, look at the obligations that you've just made, the newer ones, and see which ones you really didn't need to take on. Because you've gotten so many that I have a feeling you can't even juggle them anymore. Yeah. Look at the ones that you can let go of. Okay? And definitely don't take on any more right now. Okay? Definitely. Does that make sense, Miss Kathryn? And I'll tell you what. All of you guys have my permission to use me as your scapegoat. So, Kathryn, if you're looking at where all these obligations are that you need to cut out, you need to stop using or whatever, or stop doing, or you don't want to take on new ones. Thank you, Tiny. Thank you. You don't want to take on new ones. Y'all feel free to say, hey, my spiritual advisor told me that my plate is full as far as obligations go right now, and I've got to work on me a little bit. Feel free to use me, throw me under the bus, whatever it is you need to do as like a get out of jail free card, okay? I'm just saying. I got your back, Kathryn, all right? That makes sense? All right, let me figure this out real quick. I'm just going to refresh one more time because I know there were a couple that were on reserve. You didn't see that either. Didn't see that. You didn't see anything. I'm glad. I'm so glad. I love that the two of you are friends and got readings. I love it. Well, with that, I am actually going to go to bed. So that way, if I get in bed in the next 15 minutes, I can get a full 8 hours of sleep. I know, right? Aw, thank you, Michelle. I will see you guys a lot tomorrow. Thank you, Tiny Heathen. I will be... Oh, I love that, Spooky. Thank you so much, honey. I know, Ammo Cat, what's 8 hours? Like, I'm not used to that. I'll probably end up being more tired after getting actually 8 hours of sleep. D, I go through phases too, knock on wood. Thankfully, I am not in that right now. I'm just working so much that I don't sleep. Hardly at all. But see you guys tomorrow. We're going to film a podcast with Mr. James Stokes, who is the current Jason Voorhees. I will also be on doing horror card reads. Dudes, I kind of wish that I had ordered a couple of these decks because holy shit, they are phenomenal. They're gorgeous. And I'm going to have Jason sign them tomorrow. All right, guys. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Yeah? Yeah.